When Sarah looked at me from across the living room and softly said, "Maybe we should break up," something shifted inside me. For months I'd felt her slipping away, her tone colder, her presence shorter, her affection fading. Still, hearing her finally say what I'd long suspected brought an odd sense of relief. I didn't cry, I didn't plead. I just met her gaze and said evenly, "All right then, pack your things." The look on her face is something I'll never forget. She blinked in disbelief, as though she'd misheard. "Wait, what? You're not even going to talk about it?" she stammered, a tremor of confusion and fear in her voice. But my decision was already made. If she wanted to leave, I wasn't going to chain her to a life she no longer wanted. My pride, my self-respect, those mattered more than begging someone who had already stopped valuing me. For the first time in ages, I straightened my back and felt stronger than I expected. I walked to the closet, pulled out her suitcase, and set it gently on the bed. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. She looked frozen between disbelief and frustration. This wasn't the reaction she anticipated. She probably thought I'd argue, bargain, or fall apart, but I stayed composed. "You've already made your choice, Sarah," I said quietly. "I won't pretend otherwise." She tried to reply, but her silence spoke louder than words ever could. I began folding her clothes the way she liked, careful, deliberate movements that felt like closing chapters one by one. The room grew heavier with every passing minute. Finally, she whispered, "I thought you cared." I paused, turned to her and said, "I cared more than you'll ever realize, but if that's not enough for you, I won't keep proving it." Her eyes shimmered, though I couldn't tell if it was anger, regret, or both. When everything was packed, I carried the suitcase to the door. Sarah followed slowly, as though she couldn't accept what was happening. At the doorway, she looked back at the apartment, once filled with laughter and late-night talks. Now silence filled the spaces where love used to live. "I didn't think you'd let me go this easily," she murmured. I met her eyes one last time and said, "Sometimes strength isn't holding on, it's knowing when to let go." She didn't answer. She simply stepped outside, suitcase in hand, and the door closed behind her. For a long while, I stood in the quiet. The place felt bigger, emptier, but also peaceful. I realized I wasn't broken. I was free. Free from the months of confusion, the emotional tug-of-war, the slow unraveling of something that had already died. She had been halfway gone long before she said the words. In the days that followed, friends called after hearing the news. Some were shocked, others not at all. Many assumed I'd be devastated, but I wasn't. I threw myself into work, exercise, and hobbies I'd neglected during our time together. To my surprise, I started sleeping better. The weight of uncertainty was gone. No more waiting for texts that never came, no more vague excuses about late meetings or needing space. The truth had finally surfaced, and I had responded with finality. Weeks later, Sarah texted me. She wrote, "I didn't think you'd be so strong. I thought you'd fight for me." I stared at the message, realizing that what she'd wanted all along was control. My silence was my answer. I never replied. Time passed, and with it came healing. I learned that love isn't about holding on to someone who can't see your worth. It's about valuing yourself enough to walk away when their heart has already left. Looking back, I don't regret how that day unfolded. She expected tears and pleading. Instead, she got calm strength. She was shocked because she never imagined I'd be the one to end things with composure. But I understood something she didn't. The moment she said those words, she'd already left me. All I did was open the door. And when it closed behind her, another door opened for me. The door to peace, self-respect, and a life no longer tied to someone who never truly wanted to stay.